So I kind of messed up. Hi loves, today's Sparkle BS. I messed up a little bit, wasn't intentional, and I'm the kind of person where when I do make a mistake, I will come clean and I will apologize. So, and it's such a stupid little mistake, and I'm so irritated, but you know, I'm human and I'm flawed. So what happened? Somebody actually reached out to me last night, which I really appreciated, and they went over something that I had on my list of things to do, but I've gotten so busy with other stuff, I've kind of put it to the side. I had a video that came out, and it was actually this particular video. This was addressing the fact that Lainey's sister Lauren had crashed my YouTube YouTube live debate. I guess it was after the debate, so it doesn't matter, but it was it's dated from June 23rd. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because that same night I ended up talking to Sarah on YouNow platform, on her YouNow channel, YouNow Live. So what happened was I filmed this video ahead of time before I talked to Sarah. I edited it, I put it up, and I had it ready to go. Sarah and I ended up having a conversation, and so there's one aspect of the video that is now inaccurate that could paint Sarah in a bad light. The part is that I was under the assumption and the impression that Sarah sent Lauren, that's Lainey's sister, sent Lauren the link knowing that she was doing something a little bit devious by having Lauren come on uninvited. And I would have been happy to have her on had I known ahead of time. I would have been like, okay, you know, as long as it's peaceful and it's productive, that's fine. After I spoke to Sarah on YouNow, we addressed a few issues from the live debate and a few other things where that was one issue that I addressed. She said she thought she had no idea. She said she had never used YouTube Live. She thought that link was to the video. She didn't realize that it was going to go to the chat. Now, I've had some people say back and forth, well, that's bullshit, this, that, and the other. I will say this. Sarah's always been very nice to me. She's been very respectful. At this point, when it comes to me personally, I don't have any reason to believe Sarah would lie to me. Now, I know other people have said maybe she's lied about this, that, and the other. I don't know. That's between her and those people. I'm saying in regard to me, she's been very respectful. So I want to apologize if this painted Sarah in a bad light. I forgot about that little part, and the video had already been up and scheduled, ready to go. So I wanted to explain that to people so they were aware that it was not any ill intention on my part. It was just something that I missed. Again, like a lot of these things that's happened with Sarah, with Lainey, I didn't anticipate speaking to any of them. I had no idea I'd be speaking to Sarah later that night. But I thought this might also be a good segue into that conversation that I had with Sarah and Sarah's friend Ellie. So if you guys go and I'm actually by the way, before I say anything else, please go to the blarg. The blarg, I know I've been shouting them out a lot, but I've actually been like really hooked on their content. They are on it. And especially with a lot of like just a lot of the different things and different, I hate saying the word drama, but a lot of the dramas that have come up, and especially about the debate stuff. For instance, Lainey ended up responding to the things I talked about with the Pro-Anna stuff, and they covered that. They have lent me a lot of different footage, so I fully support them. They've been very kind to me on stuff that I don't have access to, stuff that you guys don't have access to that you would miss. So please go subscribe, go support them. The whole interaction is like an hour and 15 minutes. And so I'm not going to put all it on here, but you can see the whole interaction just because I'm not trying just to paint my narrative on the situation, but I do want to pull up what we talked about so you guys are aware, and then a few other key points. But I feel it's a really, really interesting hour and 15 minutes. Basically what you're going to be seeing when you watch the Blarg's video, which, you know, I'll have everywhere, so please go check it out, is that it is me, I wouldn't say the word confronting, but me and Sarah and her friend Ellie talking about different issues that have happened and seeing different perspectives on them. I think this is really, really educational for people who might, and I want to say this respectfully because this was an issue in the conversation we had, for people who are younger, who might not understand the perspectives coming from somebody like me or Jeff Holiday or Andy Worski or Blair White or other people who've had the kind of concerns that we've had. It helps understand their perspective and how they see things, and then our perspective, and maybe a better way to kind of communicate about stuff. So I want to go ahead and throw up the clip though, just so you guys can see I'm not full of crap. I'm not just trying to defend Sarah. I have made a mistake, and it was an honest mistake, and I just didn't correct it until now. So please don't attack Sarah. Please don't attack her over this. And furthermore, guys, please Please do not attack anybody. I know Lainey has said, and Sarah has said, and other people have said that they've gotten, you know, harassment, and Lainey's talked about death threats. I mean, I've gotten lots of harassment and death threats too, but I want to say, guys, this is not a platform where we attack people. Even when I say I'm coming for you, bitch, I feel like my audience knows me well enough to know that is a figure of speech. That means I'm about to expose some nasty behaviors in a video. On my channel, I have said this for forever. We do not harass, we do not bully, we do not attack. If you do that, you're not welcome on my space. This is not the place for you. So please, please don't do that. But anyways, without further ado, please don't attack Sarah over this. Sarah did not, she explained it, makes sense. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt because she's never been, you know, aside from a few things here and there, she's been respectful to me. We've been able to work things out as you know, in a very adult way, which I appreciate from her. So without further ado, let's take a look at what was said and what was cleared up.
I'm going to agree with that. I don't think Sarah, I think you were really nice. I think you were really respectful. I will say there's one thing I did find very rude. And it wasn't in what you said or what you came across, but that without my knowledge, you sent the Hangout link to Lainey's sister without telling any of us. It would have been one thing if you would have asked, or if I, you know, like if you would have approached me about it, even privately, if you would have written, said, hey, please don't say this in the chat. Could you know, I'd like to, you know, get her on.
I do know what you're talking about. I didn't, even when I first clicked the link, was not until I had already given the link, and I didn't know that would immediately connect me into the chat. I thought it was just a link to the live stream, and then you would like guest me or something like you now.
Okay, so had you never done Google Live before that?
No.
Oh, okay, well, see, that makes a lot of sense to me because I'm new to it. Like the first time I did it, I gave it out to everybody, and all of a sudden these random people were on, and I went, what happened? So, okay, and see, like that's what sucks is I feel like so much shit can literally be just misinformation, misunderstanding, miscommunication, and when two people actually sit down and talk and they're open, it can easily be resolved. So no, then that's fine. Because I didn't know, and I thought, hold on. I was like, wait a second, I invited you on, and now
Rat Monster.
Rat Monster.
Got some extra stuff.
I'm sorry, my bias just popped up.
So now that we got that part cleared up, there were other interesting tidbits in this that I thought that I would share. Again, this is like an hour and 15 minutes long. I am not trying to spin a narrative, you know, or try to manipulate. So if you would like to see the full video, which I really, really encourage you to go see the full video because I think there's a lot of good info in there and you can get the full context of everything, please go to the Blarg TV and I have the video listed. Go check out the video and some other really good videos. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just had to run up and down the stairs because I had some food delivered. Here come the fat comments. I don't care, it's fine. Okay, so anyway, but we also talked about a few other things. One thing that we talked about was in regard to Lainey's anxiety. So Sarah and her friend Ellie came at me in a roundabout way, kind of saying that Lainey can't necessarily take full responsibility for her actions because she has anxiety, that some people with anxiety are going to act certain ways. And I have a completely different opinion. So I'll let you go ahead and take a look at the clip and you can see what was said.
I am not trying to make fun of Lainey having anxiety. What I'm saying is just because somebody has some type of disorder or illness, whether it's mental or physical, it does not give them a pass or the right to be rude. And what I was saying was she had anxiety talking to me, and the minute that we stopped talking, she decided to shit talk me. And then she sent her sister in to like come on my stream uninvited to just take over and be rude. So those are things that from my perspective, I don't blame stuff on my anxiety or my PTSD. I don't do that. And I don't think anybody else can either. You can have an illness, a mental illness, some type of mental disorder and still not be rude to somebody. And I felt that what she did was misleading, it was lying, and it was rude. That's what I felt because she said one thing to me. We had this whole conversation, turns around and has a completely different idea and agenda and perception and objective after we were done talking. And there was that was rude to me from my perspective.
Then my response to you is, first things first, I'd like to say what everyone is saying in the comments, which is that Lainey goes by they, them pronouns. The second thing I'd like to say is that everyone's disorder, regardless of, whether or not it's anxiety or depression, is different for that person. So what your experience with having PTSD might be is going to be very different from Lainey's perspective of having anxiety. So when you say that having a disorder doesn't justify your actions, That would be true, except when you look at cases like for people who have severe depression, where if you have severe depression, sometimes it's not as easy for people who have that to just get up, meditate, and feel better. Their actions are going to be laying down all day and not being able to move. So,
I'd like to say this respectfully. It was never just, I can get up and meditate. I had PTSD so bad I couldn't leave my house after I had gone through a horrific series of situations. It took me years. So, you don't know me, so I'm just respectfully kind of filling you in on that. So what I was trying to say is that I don't know that there's any mental disorder, including anxiety, that's going to make you say one thing for, 45 minutes, turn around and say the exact opposite and be rude. Like, where in anxiety does that make you do that? Because that's exactly what happened.
Well, I don't know I never saw Lainey be like rude or like raise their voice after they went on to their
So from what she presented to me,
I wasn't watching because I was on live stream with you.
Right. No, and no worries. And I know you were with us and no worries. So the conversation she had with me, like I said, if you want to see it, there are videos of it. I know like the Blarg, who they've been really nice. They've been promoting it. They have it on theirs of everything that Lainey had said when you were there. She turned around on live stream after we had this nice peaceful conversation, and she just started saying a lot of other things, a lot of things that were very rude to me, and some of them that were lies. And that's the stuff that I'm upset about. I don't know a mental disorder aside from, was it pathological lying, where you just are going to say one thing and give a complete one story at one point, literally the moment I leave, turn around and say something else and give a complete...
It's also just being two-faced, but the point of the matter is that that's not what they did.
She did,
and
though.
From my perspective.
Sure, and I'm just saying from, if you watch my video,
We watched your entire video.
If you watch our interaction and then what she said, she turned around and did a lot of negative shit talking from my perspective. And when I say shit talking, that's just, crap talking. I don't know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in the way I'm saying that, but that was my perspective on it. And if she really had those opinions, she could have said that at any time.
And I will stand by that claim that from my perspective, you can have all the anxiety you want, you can have all the bipolar, you can have all of these issues, but it does not make it okay to be disrespectful to somebody, rude to somebody, or lie. It's not. That's just not okay regardless of the mental illness, unless I am ignorant and there are mental illnesses where you are going to do those things. But even then, I feel like we have to be accountable for actions. We absolutely have to be, regardless of whatever we're going through. And by the way, I did want to make this point. That is absolutely true about my PTSD. And a lot of people don't know this. I haven't talked a lot about this. I was diagnosed, was it 7 years ago? 2010-ish? Yes, 2010. I had to think about it. So it took me probably up until a year ago to fully work through it. And so I didn't just meditate through it, but here's the thing. It would be so bad that I couldn't leave the house if I got triggered enough, and I mean really triggered, not just, oh, my feelings are hurt. Like, I would feel like I'm in the same dangerous position I was, and it would be hard to know where I was. I had to really come back because your mind goes into such a survival mode. It's very, very difficult. Even after I worked through, it took me like a month or so to kind of feel comfortable leaving the house by myself. And then after that, there were other things like traveling terrified me because a lot of stuff happened when I was traveling. There were all these different things. So I wanted to point that out as well, guys, that I didn't just meditate out of my PTSD, but in my situation, I don't have, and I'm not, this is not a put down to anybody else in the situation or if you have. I'm the kind of person where I don't have room to fuck up. Does that make sense when I say that? Like, my life, the way my life has been set up by whatever fucking, universal means, people want to call it God, whatever, is that there's very little backup for me in my life. So I don't have the luxury of screwing up. So when I'm in a horrible, like if I'm going through something like that, I don't have the luxury of reacting. I don't have the I've never been to jail. I've never been in trouble. And a lot of it is due to the fact that, well, number one, I never had any will to do that, or intent, but I've had to be very, very careful my whole life because when something happens, when I fuck up, that's it, it's on me. If I were to go to jail, there's nobody to call. There's nobody to bail me out. It is me and just me and whatever somebody wants to call God or doesn't want to call God. So I wanted to point that out. That PTSD was a horrifying experience, but I'm 7 years post the diagnosis and it doesn't bother me as much. And because I've worked on it for 7 years, I've been able to deal with it. So I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people might not know that. But let's continue. A big discussion, which again, there's only a small portion of what I said, regarding their age. You know, like they basically, and Sarah kind of felt like there were times she felt condescended and put down because of her age. This is a tricky line to walk with teenagers because on the one hand, you need to hold them accountable, but on the other hand, we have to remember that they are teenagers, their brains are still developing, and there are some things where they do know better, but other things, they just might not. It's just where they're at in life experience. So we had a lot of back and forth, and this is kind of what I tried to say in the note that I tried to end on with that.
What I hope, what I would like to hope is that you guys, or sorry, Ellie, I know you weren't there, but that Sarah, you could also see that it's always good, and I'm not saying you didn't do this, but just to keep this in mind, it's always good to stay open in your arguments. If you know that you might not have the same understanding and wisdom as somebody else, just to keep an open mind. That's all I want to say, because that's something I look back on as I was young and I'm like, oh my God, I was so stupid. I thought I knew everything. And Sarah, you've never come across that way. You don't come across that way with me. This is just something I'm putting out there.
Now, I'm actually throw up some clips from the live stream because this was also brought up, and I think it's something that it's hard because I think my overall opinion is I think it was miscommunication. But from the live stream, my understanding of how everything went down, which I'll put up here, and you can make your own, you know, decisions or speculation from it if you want, was that she requested people to come on, and that I had explained there was a group of people when I, you know, and that they, you know, were people she kind of knew, and she said she was okay with it. That was my understanding. But she said she didn't realize it was going to be that many people, which is fair. So in regard to how she felt there, I think, because, you know, Onision was saying, oh, Onision and Lainey were like, oh, I'm attacking her and this and that, and we're all ganging up. When I was like, no, I thought this is what she wanted. She requested it. And I, you know, triple checked to make sure everything was okay. I want to throw that part of the live stream up just so you guys can see it. My intention was never to attack anybody. In fact, I was happy to keep it just between Sarah and I, and Jeff when he was there, because she was comfortable with Jeff, and just keep it there. There were other people, like I said, that wanted to come on from that group of people who, you know, Onision and Lainey kind of screwed over. But I told them, hey, we're gonna hold off until Sarah's done, because I don't want Sarah to feel ganged up on or attacked. So I want to put that out there just so you guys can see it, and then I'll play the clip of what Sarah said and kind of my response to that. So here we go. I'm saying that even though she eventually agreed, she showed signs of being resistant, and he showed signs of manipulation. And that's kind of my point in that.
Well, I don't see it like that. I see it as, would anyone else like to join the chat too? I'm just curious. Because
I can say that there are some girls that are curious to join. I was gonna let them on afterward because, again, like, regardless if you know, I don't have any issue with it. If you have an issue with me, I was trying to be respectful. Would you like me to bring some other people on?
Oh, I mean,
or we can do it one-on-one. It's up to you. It's whatever's comfortable for you.
Depends on who it is.
Well, there is a group chat that I'm a part of. I'm not really active in it, but it's a lot of there are a lot of girls that are very supportive of Billy. It also has like Aaron in it, and I know there are other people that are involved. They kind of did want to come on and say their piece. And I know a couple of my moderators wanted to come on too. I was gonna let them on later, but if you would like, I could do that now, and you guys could talk. I mean, it's up to you though. You tell me.
I'd like to do that because I'd like to hear what they.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm gonna send them the link, and I'm gonna run in pee. So like, if you need to take a break too, you can. I've been at this for a while, so give me just a second. Okay, I'm gonna send the link.
You know, you had asked for the girls to come on. I said, hey, you know, you asked for other people, and I said, hey, there's this group. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I triple checked, and I tried, even though you guys were going to talk about the stream, I tried very much every so often to make sure everything was okay. And even before you left, when you started to say you have to leave and you're uncomfortable, if I remember correctly, I apologized, and we all apologized if anything was rude or sounded attacking, because Sarah, I will say this for forever, I have nothing against you. I support you. I still, from my perspective, think that what's happened to you sucks, and it's not your fault, and you were put in a shitty position and a situation. And I just want you to know that regardless of everything else, I still think you're pretty. I can disagree with things. I can still think you're pretty. I can still think you're smart, and I can still support you, even if you disagree or dislike me. Not saying you do, but even in that case.
I'd like to make a quick interjection. Onision just tweeted, Sarah is getting attacked by my stalker and tons of other people ganging up on a 16-year-old.
Oh my God.
Fuck you at Joy Sparkle. Sarah,
let me go to. I am younger than 16, so if he wants to say I'm attacking a 16-year-old, he can come at me. I don't care.
I think we've all been like, Sarah. If any of us owe you an apology, I think we'd be humbly
let us
open,
know.
Like, right? Like that is not
20% stand up.
No, I'm just getting really
overwhelmed right now. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
No, it's okay. And if you need to go, like nobody's upset with you, nobody's hating on you. I just wanted you to know. I hope that you haven't. I hope that it hasn't been perceived that way, because that's not. You asked to have other people on. I was kind of trying to keep that from the situation because I didn't want you to feel that way.
Yeah, that was nobody's intention.
I didn't know Lane was going to be on here. It's kind of hard for me to deal with. That's the only thing, though.
Oh, I wish you would have said something. I would have tried to adjust.
It's fine. I can handle it. It's fine. Like I think at the end of the day, what's best for everyone in this situation is to just stop talking about each other, or trying to contact each other, because it's clearly not going to work out, and we're not going to see the other side. And the more it gets brought up, the more everyone's going to get upset, and it's never going to heal.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm having a hard time right now.
That's okay. Go take care of you.
Yeah, take care of you, girl.
If I caused any stress or anything. You know, or something, but yeah.
No worries, Sarah. Well, if any of us need to offer you an apology, if you at any time, please reach out to me or any of us. I'm sure they'll all agree with me. If I made you in any way, shape, or form feel uncomfortable, let me know. I do want to state, if people are not quite sure what the situation was. So Sarah messaged me when Jeff was on. I invited her. She came on with Jeff and me, and then Jeff left. Sarah and I talked for a while, and then Sarah had asked if the other people wanted to come on, and I mentioned the girls. So Sarah agreed. I made sure it was okay. I asked it a few times, and then I think I've been trying to, even though I've tried to let people talk, I feel like I've been trying to check people's comfort level often. So this is what has been happening. Greg, once again, has been caught in so many lies today. Please remind him he's going to need to get an ass tattoo. He's going to need to.
I think right now, at this point, Joy, I think right now we should wait until Sarah's gone for all that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
She's uncomfortable. She's uncomfortable, and she's ready to go. And she, like she already said, even though she didn't feel attacked, she knows that she's like the one person on the one side. I think that's the kind of stuff that needs to wait.
Yep, I gotcha. I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah, it was nice to have you on. Reach out if you need anything. Or
I just want to say one more thing before I go. The only time I kind of felt attacked was by Erin when she was saying that stuff. Other than that,
who, me?
It's been no.
Oh, okay. I can't. Oh, I'm not used to two Erins. I'm like, wait, what did I do?
Hey, Ron.
Right. I was like, never did I. I'm so sorry. Like, that was not my intention.
Yeah.
So the other one, okay.
I might be having an ad lib.
But yeah, sorry. I just went and peed. What?
No, go ahead, Sarah. I have asthma. I know. Go take care of you.
But bye, guys.
No worries. Bye, Sarah.
Yeah, no disrespect, Sarah.
Tried to be respectful as always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Aw.
Oh my goodness gracious.
No, Onision is such a fuck because
that's why I said I'm like wait.
No, I know. No, I know, and I wasn't going to get into this right now. But
I know that.
Hold on, Aaron. Onision is he's such a fuck because he has just been caught lying so many times today. I often was checking, is everybody okay? Sarah, are you okay? Like, I made triple sure. It wasn't like we all just ambushed, or I said there's a group of people that kind of know each other and know the situation that want to come on. Like, granted, like she said, she didn't know Lane was coming on. I thought she was aware of the group because the group had told me that Sarah was aware of the group. So, but nobody's intention was to attack. In fact, I was going to say right before all this, I was going to laugh and say, hey, can Onision take notes on how to have a civil discussion? I think this is pretty civil for the most part.
I just can't believe he said that we were attacking her when she willingly came in here. Like, that wasn't true at all, I feel.
Nobody, like, in anything that got talked about to her were, like, legitimate questions and legitimate things brought up. Like, nobody came at her. Like, and he wants to sit here and talk about people attacking her when earlier, when Joy did decide to jump on you now, every other word was a fucking cunt and a fucking cultist and a fucking... like all kinds of ignorant ass shit. So like, who is he to say anything about attacking people? Which I do get that Sarah is a minor, whatever else, but who of anybody in this situation, minor or not, was in this situation speaking to her like that? Absolutely nobody.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely nobody.
And this is no disrespect to Sarah at all, and I probably should have said it while she was on here, but it just crossed my mind that she was like freaked out about Lane being on here, but when I mentioned that I was here to stand up for Lane anyway, she asked why wasn't Lane on herself.
That is real. That is real. I'll give that validation.
And you know, maybe it was a situation where she was overwhelmed and misspoke. You know, that happens to all of us. I do want to play devil's advocate, because again, I don't think any of us are like, oh, let's attack. But we're sitting here because Onision's such a manipulative little prick. We're sitting here trying to like dissect, and I think we're all checking ourselves, going, okay, did we do anything that could have hurt somebody or offended somebody? The answer is, I don't think so. And my DMs are open to Sarah. If she or Lainey has any problem with me, they can reach out, and I think I proved I can be more than respectful and calm and make peace with anybody, as long as they're not a fucking Greg. And I would try with him. I'd fucking try again, but he doesn't want it. He wants to make money off of being an ass and wonder why his channels are dying and why he's getting flagged.
Like, I love speaking my opinion and as respectfully as I can. And I just like debating in a way, or like trying to come to conclusions with people. I like doing that kind of stuff. But I try
that's
to
what
stay
adults
respectful. Do. Right.
And I think in part of the situation too, when you came on and you said that you came on and you were like speaking for Lane and everything else, and she's like, well, where's Lane? Why can't she speak for herself? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of times when people are put into situations where they feel even like the slightest amount of pressure, they just speak. So she might have been like, well, where is she? Why isn't she here? Not expecting that to actually happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just expecting a response for you to be like you said, oh, well, she's busy, she can't be here, blah, blah, blah. And I think that in a way she might have thought that would have been the end of that. She didn't turn around and expect for Lane to pop up and materialize from that. She expected you to answer with that and for that to be the end of it.
Right.
But that's not how that worked out.
Lane didn't speak much though, so I'm glad it didn't escalate.
He's such a turd. Is that what you just said?
Yes,
I fucking hate you. Swear to fucking God.
I'm not even trying to be shady. Like, he is just, listen to this. He's trying to we are on this stream trying to make peace between some people who are minors and young adults because of this manipulative fuck to begin with. And this manipulative fuck, as we're all making peace, is on Twitter trying to create more chaos with teenagers. Fuck you.
Right, like
Come on. And damn it, my AC turned on. I don't know why. I've been turning it off, but then it turned back on. So something really quickly I wanted to bring up as well, just because this might be confusing. The group that I've been a part of, Sarah had been aware of it. So just so you guys are aware, Sarah, from my understanding, had been aware of the group, knew who was involved in the group. That's why when I brought the group up, I thought she was very aware of who was in the group and that they wanted to speak, how many people it might be. And I think that's where this was just, unfortunately, one of those breakdowns and miscommunication, which, you know, I give the benefit of the doubt that it just happens. And I think that's what happened here.
Okay, yeah. When the whole, like, people coming in, I didn't know that it was going to be, well, first of all, I was in there. I was talking to you and Jeff, and then Jeff got off and you were like, oh, there are some other people who want to like guest. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, could I was like wanting to stay on. So I was like, oh, well, they can guest while I guest too, so we can like all talk. I didn't know it was going to be 6 other people. I didn't know exactly who the girls were going to be. I definitely did not know that fucking Lane was going to show up, even though I did say I was like, oh, well, why isn't Lane here, like, herself? But I didn't really think that like Lane was going to actually show up. I didn't outwardly like say, oh, bring all these people in, and that's kind of how you're making it seem, if that makes sense. You're making it seem like I asked. And I didn't, and I was fine with it until Aaron got very rude at one point. I don't know if you remember that. Not the moderator, but the other.
Right. No. I want you to also be aware. She actually wrote me and apologized for how heated she got, and she basically said she had, just so you're aware, she meant no disrespect towards you. She's really upset at the situation, and she's upset at the manipulation that she sees goes on with Greg to everybody, and then what Lainey can do as a result of Greg. So yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And I apologize if you felt attacked at all. I think part of it, Sarah, I think there was some miscommunication, because what I remember, and I can try to pull up and find it, and not because like I'm trying to argue with you, but just more so for clarity, is that you had asked if other people could come on. And So I apologize if there was any breakdown from me and you and miscommunication. I guess, and I know you don't know me very well, but I wish I would have known, or you would have wrote me privately and been like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. If you didn't want to say anything to the group, because I would have immediately fixed that. Like, my intention was to just have a chat with me and you, if that's what you had wanted, since you seem to be upset with me, because the thing I wanted to avoid was having you feel attacked by anybody. That's why, like, because the people from my chat said they wanted to come on, and I said, nope, you need to wait. And it was nice. They weren't saying, I just said, no, I'm going to wait until Sarah has her turn, and then I'll see if I have energy to people.
You guys love that fucking robot voice. I still don't know why that happens every so often, because I thought it was maybe a you now thing, but it's happened on YouTube Live. I don't know, it's weird. It even freaked me out. I'm like, holy shit, that sounds like a little bit of a demon from hell vibe. So that freaked me out too. So, okay, but moving on. Anyway, so then Sarah and Ellie, this one I think was more so Ellie, but that's okay. She was on Sarah's You Now. She has, she has a right to say what she feels. One of their big issues was how that they said that basically it looked like I was being two-faced, and that I was fake, and actually that I was wrong for the fact that I could be in a video and be so angry at Lainey, but then turn around and say she's beautiful and I think she's smart and I think deep down she's a good person. So this was a point of contention, and this is something we went back and forth on as well. So go ahead and you can look up a little bit of clips on some of what they said and some of what I said, and see where my point was.
And from my standpoint, I was just like, how do you actually feel? Because you could tell you're really pissed, but like...
I feel both ways. Because that's the thing. I think that people are used to somebody being 100% I hate you or attacking or completely kissing your ass. And I'm a human being with many emotions, and I will express them all.
But it doesn't feel like you're being genuine when you say things like, but you're really pretty. And then if you were to like dig deep down, that's pretty like it doesn't.
See, I think a lot of women, what a lot of women do is, or even a lot of people in general, when they don't like somebody, they end up wanting to pick apart everything about them, even stuff that doesn't matter. I like to keep things into perspective. I can still see the good in somebody and see good things about them and point that out, and still be highly upset at their actions. I don't have to hate everybody just to be, or I don't have to hate everything about a specific person just because I'm upset with them about a situation. That is how I choose to operate. I don't need one extreme or the other, and I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but that's just who I am. And
the reason it makes me uncomfortable is because you started the video off by saying, I'm coming for you, bitch, and then continued with, but you're pretty and nice though. Like, just, it's kind of wrong. It just didn't feel right. So.
No, if it doesn't feel right to you, that's fine, but that doesn't make it wrong. I would say this, and I'm going to say this as humbly as I can, and in no disrespect or condescension. It might be strange because, and Sarah, you and I had talked about this. Where you are at right now as a teenager, and this is not a put down, is that your brain reacts a lot on emotion. So it would make sense why that might be strange, because again, until you're 25, those centers of cause and reaction and really being able to weigh things aren't formed. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It's just literally physiology. But as you get older, when you get older, you gain greater perspective on things. Like I said, people who are 40 and 50 have way more fucking knowledge than me. And that's just part of it. So like I said, for me, I can see many different sides and perspectives of it. And I can agree with several things at once. And that doesn't make me fake or make me wrong. In fact, I wish more people could do that. I think we could get to a peaceful place with people more quickly if more people could be able to have that attitude, rather than you've upset me or I don't like what you did, therefore I hate everything about you. That's just not who I'm going to be. And that's not who a lot of people are.
Yeah, but you're using our ages and the way, according to you, the way that our minds works as a way to invalidate what we say, and I'm not okay with that.
It's not an invalidation. It's trying to.
But it sounds like it.
Then I apologize. It's not trying to invalidate. It's trying to expand your perspective. That's it.
Well, I completely understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with you.
And that's okay. We don't have to agree. That's all right. We can just share information, and maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll see points you've said and I'll agree with you, and maybe it's the same. You'll see points I've said. So we don't have to agree. But like I said, because I heard that there was some shit talking. And, I heard you call me a cunt. I thought, all right, if you guys would like to talk it out, I'm more than happy to.
Now, this is something that was really important to me. Again, actually, I had 45 minutes of stuff that I ended up editing down to about 15 minutes of the footage from the blog. But this one was really important, where Sarah basically was saying Billie had a choice on what punishment that she could take for her actions. And this is something I've been very vocal about, so you can see our exchange on this one.
Billie had, and I saw the conversations, Billie had a choice. Like, Billie had a lot of choices. Billie could have made an apology video. Or better yet, better yet,
if you mess up, do you need to go and make an internet, okay, let's say you are a private person, right? You have a relationship. When you mess up, let's say you've lied 3 times for whatever reason, are you then supposed to turn around because your partner wants you to go make a video on YouTube every time that person is offended because you've messed up on something else? Or should you go out in the street with a megaphone and scream all of your issues? No, it's a private matter. And that was our issue about the whole thing.
And now we have the clip where we talk about the "I'm coming for you, bitch" remark. And then also more so about me talking about self-defense. So here you go.
Well, okay, you saying I'm coming for you, bitch, is threatening. It's attacking.
I would say it's verbally harsh. I could call that a verbal attack, but you can't put somebody in jail for a verbal attack. Now, if I started going into detail on how I wanted to physically harm her, or what I would do to her, or how I was going to show up here or there, that'd be totally different. I never did that. So what he's doing, he's taking a phrase and he's spinning a narrative and an assumption, but that won't hold up in a court of law.
Well, what my take on this is, though, is that a lot of the language that you used in your video could be interpreted as not only threatening but as slander, as stated before. But the main problem, though, is that if he does go and actually file a court case, it's just going to cause more drama. So the main reason that I have a problem with what you did, though, is in general is that I feel like if you were to address this in a way saying, listen, I'm not dealing with this anymore, and just leave it at that, just drop the situation altogether. Every time he tweets at you, just completely ignore him. You're not going to have a problem. But by making a 35-minute long video, you're creating another problem.
Girl, he's creating a problem by attacking me, and I will continue to defend myself. And I'm sorry, when I said girl, that's a figure of speech. I just caught that. That wasn't trying to be rude at you at all. So forgive me. It's just the way that I talk. So the problem is he continues to bully people. It is not my problem that I am standing up for myself. And I can see where you're coming from, but that's just not my choice. I continue to speak my truth, and I continue to protect First Amendment rights.
You're not standing up for yourself, though. You're standing up and then throwing it right back. Like, you're not just saying...
I'm defending myself.
Well, you're not... That's not defending yourself. That's attacking back. You can defend yourself and say... Go wild, I guess. It's not, but I mean...
So the big, I think, communication breakdown is she felt like what I was doing was an attack back, where I said, from my perspective, I am defending myself from being attacked. And I will continue to defend myself from being attacked when it is applicable. There are some things, now I can agree with her here. There are some things in some situations in life where it's just better to walk away. But in this one, because of the person we're dealing with, when you do that, he sees it as a sign of submission and that he can fuck with you as much as he wants, however he wants. We've seen him do it with other people. And I also, again, want to drive the point home to him. It's not okay to continue to bully, harass, or threaten people just to get your way when you then bully, harass, and threaten people. Like, that's not okay to me, and it never will be okay. Now, this one was a little bit of a point of irritation for me, and I'll explain why in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip, though. She had basically said, well, from here on out, if you continue to attack, you're signing yourself up for this. And my response, which you'll see, was, well, yeah, like I absolutely am signing myself up for doing this exchange. That's why I'm having the responses that I am having, and that is okay. So that's part of that. I'll explain more in just a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
So well, then to quote yourself back at you, you're signing yourself up for this. Like, everything that happens from this point, you're signing yourself up for it. Like, you're saying that they're all saying themselves, go out.
And I would agree with that. I'm signing myself up for defending myself against them doing crap to me and other people. Absolutely. I would agree with that. So that's the thing. I'm not sitting here complaining or trying to play victim to what they've done or what I've done. I own my actions, but I will not be painted in a light of what my actions are, because it's just not true. I never physically threatened her. And if I did, then he needs to prove that by spending the money to get a lawyer and proving that in court. Otherwise, once again, he's playing cry bully. that's what he is doing, and so is Lainey.
I want to address a couple things. Before I say anything else, I'm going to beg. I mean beg. I'm going to grovel right now. Please, please, please do not go attack or harass or try to humiliate or threaten or death threat any of these people. Greg, Lainey, Sarah, Ellie, anybody who's ever been involved in this situation. Especially, guys, Ellie is not a public figure. She has not tried to put herself in videos. She was just one of Sarah's friends coming on to express herself. Now, a lot of people said, I've had a lot of people come to me and say they did not like Ellie's behavior, and that they felt Ellie came across, kind of rude and condescending. And while I think I can agree at some points, I want to point this out, and this is where it's a hard line to walk. They're still 16. When I was 16, I would come across like an asshole many times, and I had no idea. I had no clue. I was raised by a lot of crazy females. There's no nice way to say that. And they could be very pretentious and condescending. In fact, I have a female sibling. We laugh about this because this is something we see about our younger selves. And a lot of it wasn't even that we meant to be that way. It was that we took on the habits of the older females and the older people around us. I had no clue. When it was in my mid-20s that I had a relationship where the person had come across to me and explained how rude and entitled and condescending I came off, and I cried for about a week because I realized here I've been an asshole to so many people and I had no idea. So I want you guys, everybody can have their opinions. Have your opinion, but what I'm saying is it's a hard line to walk because although they are 16 and they should know better, they have not been out in the world. We don't know what their home lives are like. As far as we know, Sarah's home life isn't the greatest. So we need to be really careful how we deal with people like this because how are they to know? They're still in high school. They've never had, as far as we know, they've never really had to pay rent or pay bills. Now, maybe they have. Maybe this is an extenuating circumstance where, Ellie is working a full-time job and doing that with her family. But what I'm saying is because they are so young, they do not have the life experience that a lot of us have who have years on us. And we should not be putting them down for that. When we put them down for being young, they're not going to understand our point. And we can't see where they are coming from. So I think we have to respect one another's ages while understanding the limitations of the age. One argument I kept bringing up in regard to this, I kept saying to them, because they felt put down and like I was condescending, which I apologized for several times. And I said, it's similar to that if there's somebody who's in their 40s with a well-established family, they're going to have a lot more knowledge and insight on a lot of different things in life than I am. And I have to be humble enough to be open to them. Doesn't mean that I should allow them to be assholes to me and be attacking or be, rude as a result. And this is where I think there's a breakdown in communication between younger people in this situation and people who are older, like me, or maybe whoever's watching, or maybe even older people. We have to respect everyone's perspective while understanding everyone's strengths and weaknesses. So even though I can agree that I think Ellie did many times come across that way, at one point I did start to a little bit stand up for myself with it, but they are still young. So yes, we hold them accountable for being teenagers because they're old enough to comprehend and know some things better, but at the same time, their brains aren't fully developed yet. They are still minors. They are not fully adults. We are not their parents, and I think that we have to leave a lot of room for growth and forgiveness. Because heaven for fucking bid, all the mistakes I made when I was younger, all the people I unintentionally pissed off over the years there are days I still feel bad about it for days. I felt so much guilt for years. Okay, here's a for instance. This is gonna learn some TMI about me, but I had a stage mom. And this stage mom actually she encouraged me to be overly flirtatious with men. And because I didn't have, my father was not around, and the male figure I did have, actually ended up later in years, did make some sexual comments to me, which is another whole fucking story in itself that I'll get into one day. But I walked around for many years acting like a tease and a flirt in an inappropriate way, and I had no idea. It took me having to leave that negative family situation and have life smack me around and enough caring people at different times to come out and say it to me in the right way where it hit and I went, oh my God. And that's when I realized I have no idea how to interact with men. I have no idea. So guys, there is a lot of room for growth and improvement. And the reason I'm saying this is I do not want them attacked. They are minors, they are teenagers, they are still learning about the world. And if we go and just attack them mercilessly, that's going to drive them further away from trying to find peace and understanding our points of view. So I wanted to say that. But I will say, I think it was a really productive talk. Again, I'm going to say this again. If you want to see the full thing, and I think you should go to the blarg. Go to the blarg. They're good people, and they have other content too. I'm going to list others of their videos as well in this so you can see those. But yes, so I just wanted to go ahead and put this out there. Sarah, if you're watching, please humbly accept my apology. It was not intended. This was not like a gotcha or set you up, and that's why I am making this video. So, and my AC just kicked on, so I think that's my I gotta go signal. So sorry about the sound for a second, guys. I thought I had it off. So continue to be blessing yourselves and blessing others. Continue to try to find the joy and the sparkles and all the bullshit in the world. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Goodbye.